Hey everybody, I thought I would do a little show and tell of some books and some wood burning tools for anyone who has decided to join me in the wood burning adventure of this challenge. So Honest Advent is the book that inspired me to start this whole thing. It has his art that starts each chapter, and then a Bible verse, some nice quotes emphasized throughout the book, some nice thoughts, and usually kind of one like little blessing or takeaway. But it's been really fun to go back through it again this year and read it afresh and share some of the quotes with you, some of the thoughts, and it sparked a lot of other thoughts that are turning into the devotional, the indescribable gift. How nice these illustrations are, the writing is pretty, and you know, the author says I took artistic liberties and wrote this narrative, and I've read bits of this. But it's nice to kind of get into the individual characters that are there. So I will be referencing this book as well. The characters that it's going to cover are Zechariah, Mary, Elizabeth, the return, not really character, but journey. Joseph, the innkeeper, the birth, the shepherds, Simeon, the escape, and an epilogue. I have two different wood burning tools to show you guys today. Jim was at Home Depot recently and found this one. So this one I got off of Amazon. Again, if you do any wood burning, make sure that you pay attention to where that metal tip is. I think this is nice because it has this great case for storing it all later. And so I'm going to plug the wood burner in, put it on its stand. Burner tool safety, remember it is an incredibly hot metal end, so you want to be very careful that you don't trip over the cord, that you unplug it as soon as you're going to leave it alone. If you're going to change any of the ends, make sure you either unplug it, let it completely cool down, or you have some pliers so that your hands don't touch that hot tip. And if you're sensitive to smell, the wood burner does definitely have a smell coming from it. And it doesn't have an on-off switch, it just, once it's plugged in, it's on. So this is kind of like the standard end that I see on most things. So get yourself set up so that it is not so cumbersome for you, that everything lines up, so that you can really pay attention to where the tip is. This one makes a nice line. And you don't have to, what I've been realizing as I've played around, is you don't have to push hard, and you don't want to move too fast. You just want to give it enough time to actually burn the wood. So if you go too fast, kind of get stuff like that. If you hold it too long, I don't know if you can see that smoke come up. It gets really dark. So experimenting is kind of nice, so you can see what kind of lines you can make, how the tool interacts with the wood that you're working on. You can pull it sideways, you can push it, pull it straight down. You can use the two ends here to make some dots. You can make straight lines, and then if you just hold it on its side, be aware of the angle of the wood, because sometimes, I use a pointer here, this part will hit the wood and you're not even realizing it, so it will leave like a secondary mark. And with this end here, this one, that is hot. It wasn't hot at first touch, but it is very hot. So any of the metal, don't touch with your hands. So to take this off, I'm putting the pliers on here and I'm twisting the handle. And then I'll untwist it because that pulls at the cord. So I'm going to try another one. Super curious about this one. And this will be tricky too. Can I do all these things at once? Hold this, hold the wood. Try to keep it in frame. In the past, I've just simply waited for the whole tool to cool down and then just taken these on and off with my fingers. It's nice to have a perfectly round circle. I'm probably not giving it enough time to totally heat up. So while that one heats up, I just wanted to show you one more time. These were the wooden discs that I got from Amazon, and I did link to those. I have realized that they're very small when you get the wood burning tool on them. In the kit, it comes with the twine that you can cut to size and thread right through the pre-drilled holes. That's nice, huh? So I would assume that you could also drag it. And this is a large surface area, so I think the dragging has to be very slow. This could be nice for shading a whole background. But then you can always use the ends of things as well. So don't be afraid if you try something new to test it out, test your tool out. I will experiment. I'll show you what all of these tools do. But these real quick. There's this one with like a square in the middle and then 4 outside things. So it looks like almost like a waffle iron pattern. This is the one I have used before for really fine lines. It feels a little bit more like a pencil, but that's kind of a fun shape. This one has like an octagon in the middle. Small straight, rounded end, pointed end. And then these are from the Chandler tool, one that I have. And it has a couple of the angle marks, a straight one, a couple different sizes of this angle. Also has the pointy, similar to that kind of leaf shape one, it's just a little bit wider. This is the one obviously that I've used. A rounded one, almost like a snowflake. But with all these little pieces, it's nice to have a container for them. Things get lost easy, right? But I wanted to show you how I'm doing some transferring of the images. So if you choose to do this, you don't have to come up with a completely fresh idea. Whether you're journaling the images or you're creating these wood burn ornaments or your own kind of ornament, or just using these art images as inspiration for yourself. And again, if you're not using them at all, that is also fine. I have some painter's tape here and some regular paper, and I'm just going to tape it over the screen so that I can use it to trace. You could use tracing paper for this, you could print it out, whatever feels comfortable to you. So I've got pencil or pen here. If you use your computer or your tablet, make sure that you do not press hard. Let truth in. How I long to gather you as a hen gathers her chicks under her wings. I have always kind of loved the visual of that verse, and so I was really happy to share it with you guys. But something you could do is take whatever you're going to put the design on and trace it. I should have done this while it was on the table. So I'm using a super, super light pressure. And then on here, what I love about this is you can move the design around a bit. Like, it doesn't have to be centered. So I traced the outline of what I'm using for my ornaments on here, just so I would know where that outline was. And the nice thing about doing any kind of tracing is you can move it around. If I wanted it to fill the whole thing, if I only wanted part, I could zoom out, I could zoom in and get it exactly the size I wanted. So if I didn't want to have it on my ornament, I could print it out and glue it into like a journal, or I could trace it onto something. And you don't have to do all of the details. Again, this is just a guide. Use it how you want. So what are your thoughts? around any responses that you might have, questions you might have about this idea of God gathering us like a hen gathers her chicks. I think of it as such a protective piece, and the fact that He wants us that close, that He wants to protect us from storms, from people, from predators, just to comfort. So there's the protection piece, there's the comfort piece. If there's eggs, there's an incubation piece. It's an image that has spoken to me for a long time. So I hope that it brings something good up for you as well. Maybe even something new that you hadn't thought about yet in regards to how God views you. I take my piece, whether it's a journal page or, obviously this is wood. You might want to look for imperfections and where the grain goes to see if you like it. I see this little imperfection. I'm trying to decide if it should go over by her wings in the nest or if it should go where this little guy is standing. So if you cut it down a little bit more, it's easier to figure out where those edges actually go. And you want to pay attention to where the pre-drilled hole is. Then you might want to tape it down, grab some carbon paper, carbon side down, and then you can grab a stylus tool, or you can use the ballpoint pen or pencil. I think I'm going to go with the stylus. So God as a mother hen. It's kind of an interesting concept. You don't have to put all these details in. Not everything will come across perfectly. You can alter it as you go to make it make more sense to you. And let me just show you one that I have finished. So you would burn that, then you erase the extra pencil lines that may be there. I feel like every time you trace something and go back over the lines, something is a little bit off. So I've got that one down. And then I found this is a great surprise, talking about God providing for us. Mother hens protect, provide, care for, nurture. All of these good images, character traits of God, truths that I want to remember. So one of them is provision. And got a work Christmas gift, chocolate-covered almonds, in this really nice plastic case. And I wondered if the wood ornaments would fit in here. So I went and I counted out 25, and lo and behold, they fit. So I already have my container. When I get all of my ornaments done, I will have a storage container for when I take them back off the tree or back off the wreath or whatever I end up hanging them on. Don't forget to look around you for solutions that might already be in your midst. What are things that have stood out to you from your own conversations, prayers with God? What has gotten in the way of you having a moment to pause, to contemplate, to listen, to offer up words to God, prayer requests, things that are stressing you out, things that are striking you with or filling you with wonder or doubt, what's been blocking you from connecting with Him? And if you've been able to push through that, what has helped push through it, and what has been the result of actually finding that time? For myself, I feel like there's always something more, always something extra, always something, whether it's the phone or a crisis at work or the dog's wanting to go out or somebody calling, even if it's a friend, even if it's a good thing, or a Christmas present arriving in the mail and it's a book or something that looks amazing. You're like, oh, I want to read it now. I feel like there's always one more thing that comes in that's wanting my attention right now, and making myself stop the one extra or stop scrolling. Often I find when I'm mindlessly scrolling that I'm actually looking for something to fill me up, and I'm like, oh wait, I know the answer. The scrolling's not going to fill me up, but maybe sitting with God for a minute is going to fill me up. And I find that when I bring my complaints, concerns, fears, joys, whatever, and I just talk with Him about it, silently or out loud or through art or writing, that my whole system calms down and new perspectives come to my mind. And yes, they come across as my thoughts, but I'm like, clearly that is not my thought. If anybody wants to share their thoughts on those different questions, that would be great. What blocks you? What helps you overcome the block? What is the result? So I hope that being a little more intentional about focus this month, focusing on the truth, focusing on God's presence, is filling you up with something fresh, something peaceful, something hopeful, no matter what is surrounding your life right now or what's going on inside or around you. And if you have questions, if you have things that you want me to respond to, please let me know. If you have any insights from your time with God this month, or reading the devotionals or making art, or just walking in the woods or driving, please share with the group. I think that will help encourage everyone. I know it isn't always encouraging to me when I hear how things are being perceived by others. And I'll be praying for you this week. If there's anything specific that you'd like me to pray for, let me know. I will make sure to pray for that this week for you.